We've all done it. Crossed our legs, leaned back, and thought, oh, please. But is this innocent habit really as harmless as it seems? While we may feel comfortable, this common sitting position is sabotaging your body. From hip pain to bad posture, the consequences might surprise you. Welcome to this video where we're gonna uncover the hidden dangers of sitting cross-legged and how to protect your body. No matter if you work in an office or in your home, most of us spend almost all day sitting. The average human being spends 7.7 hours of the day sitting. And the cross-legged position becomes one of the most popular sitting positions because of how comfortable and effortless it can be. This sitting position has even been thought as part of the etiquette or as part of showing power or communicate confidence. However, body language experts think that if you see someone in a meeting that sits down and is cross-legged, this person might be emotionally withdrawing from the conversation. And usually these people remember less of the meeting as opposed to other people that were not sitting cross-legged. Today we're going to discuss the two cross-legged positions, one that is sitting on a chair and the other one is sitting on the ground cross-legged. And when you sit like that, your knee might be at risk. However, we're not thinking that there are other parts of our body that could be compromised, such as hips, pelvis, and spine. The first time I heard about the problem of sitting cross-legged was during my recovery from my hip surgery. In fact, I am still not allowed to sit cross-legged because of the pressure that it adds to my hip and to my labrum. And this woke up my curiosity and made me go down the rabbit hole where I wanted to understand better why this isn't the best position to sit. And believe me, I miss sitting cross-legged. I really do. It becomes a habit. It's really effortless. It's really easy. It's what we are used to doing. Disclaimer, I am not a medical professional and this is just the research that I've been doing throughout the internet, talking with people, talking with experts, and I have compiled everything for you. If you have any specific questions, please refer to your doctor. So here is everything that I found in a simplified way so you don't have to go down the same rabbit hole and you have all the information ready for you. The first thing that I wanted to tell you is that there is a study that studied adults from 20 to 30 years old, 48 males, 148 females, and these people were divided in different groups where each group was assigned a time to sit cross-legged. 0 hours, 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. The results were shocking. They studied the whole body of these people and they realized that the shoulder joints, the knee joints, and a joint that is in your foot, calcaneocuboid joint, did not show any significant discrepancies. However, the head was aligned further forward in the 3-hour group. And they also had some elements such as the scapula and the pelvis that were showing significant differences compared to the other groups. With this, the study concluded that sitting for a period of time longer than 3 hours a day may result in differences in the shoulder inclination, the pelvic tilt, and the head alignment. So let's get a little bit deeper on the different consequences of sitting cross-legged for a long period of time. Again, I'm not telling you to stop it right away. I'm not saying not to do it ever again. I'm just saying that sitting cross-legged for long periods of time could bring some not optimal consequences to your body. The first one is postural imbalance. When you sit and you cross your legs, your hips and your pelvis might rotate or tilt, and this might lead to muscle imbalances in your lower back and in the hips over time. This tilt can tighten the muscles around the hip, particularly in the lower back and glutes, while weakening others such as the hip abductors. This imbalance later leads to bad posture and also to pain in your lower back and in your hip. Now, a poor posture of your pelvis can cause other muscles to start working over time to compensate the overall postural changes, which results in more pain and stiffness. When sitting cross-legged on a chair, the gluteal muscles often become inactive in this position. When the glutes are underused, they weaken, which impacts your overall stability, and they also affect your balance and your posture. Strong glutes are essential for stabilizing your hip joint. not only for the way that they look. Now, if we focus on sitting cross-legged on the floor, this also usually can bring some muscle imbalances. And this is because sometimes the hip can rotate more outwards than the other one. This position can also overstretch certain muscles like the hip abductors and the gluteal muscles, and then it tightens other muscles such as the hip flexors. Second, joint strain. Sitting cross-legged can add some pressure to your knees and your hips because you're making them rotate in ways that they are not usually used to rotating. Over time, this can strain the joints and may contribute to discomfort, especially if you already have a knee or a hip problem. And I guess this is why I was told not to sit cross-legged, because I already have a hip issue and this would just exacerbate the problem. When you sit cross-legged, the strain to the joint comes from the external rotation and deflection that is needed to maintain this position. So, for example, for people with hip arthritis or hip impingement or labral tears or any other joint inflammation, this position can make things worse and can also upset the cartilage. Over time, the condition can worsen, leading to probably osteoarthritis if you already have a problem and you keep sitting for longer periods in this position. I've already talked a little bit about it. When you sit cross-legged, your spine and your shoulders don't have the same support as they would if you were sitting normally with both feet on the ground. People that sit cross-legged usually slouch, and also their pelvis gets misaligned. And doing that for extended periods of time can bring chronic bad posture problems. 4. Limited range of motion. Because sitting cross-legged can overwork certain muscles and underutilize others, the hip joint's motion range might change. It's gonna get restricted over time. Tight muscles, of course, make things difficult when you want to extend or adduct the hip, which reduces your flexibility, range of motion, and agility. Also, over-relying on this position can make it more challenging to eventually maintain a neutral hip alignment, especially if you are combining with other weird positions throughout the day. It is worth noting that the impact of sitting cross-legged can vary between individuals. We all know that we have different bodies. So some studies suggest that there might be benefits from some individuals that sit like that. However, for overall hip health, it's not recommended that you sit cross-legged throughout the day or for extended periods of time. So, what can you do to minimize the impact of your sitting in your hips and also in your whole body, I would say? The first thing that you can do is change positions regularly. Avoid sitting cross-legged for long periods of time. I've been repeating this throughout the whole video. It's not the end of the world if you do it, just don't stay sitting like that for extended times. Stand up, stretch, walk a little bit, change your sitting position if you cannot stand up. And I don't mean by changing your sitting position to cross one leg over the other and then cross the other ones over the first one. No, actually move your legs, open them, align yourself a little bit better, change positions constantly while you're sitting. And for those of us with hip issues, it might be better to just don't sit like that anymore. Strength and stretch. Strength is the most important thing for the body. Strength adds so many benefits to our life, including having a very good aligned hip and pelvis, good posture, and everything working as it should. Engage in exercises that activate your glutes, your hip abductors, and your core muscles. Also, stretching is a good idea if you feel that you are too tight. Hip opening stretches, lounges, hip flexors, all of those things can counteract the effects of sitting cross-legged. So here I have one example of a stretch and one of strength. The stretch one is the hip flexor stretch. Kneel on your right leg and bend your left leg in front of you at a 90-degree angle. Shift your weight forward until you feel the stretch in your hip. Switch legs and repeat the stretch. The second exercise is for strengthening, and we call it bridging or glute bridge. Lie on your back with your hands by sides, knees bent, and feet flat on the floor under your knees. Tighten your abdominal and buttock muscles by pushing your lower back into the ground before you push up. Raise your hips to create a straight line from your knees to shoulders. Remember that you are not using your lower back to do this, you have to use your glutes. Squeeze your core and pull your belly button toward your spine. Hold for 10 seconds and then return to your starting position. You can complete 10 or 20 reps of this. Third, practice a neutral sitting posture. I know that it's not the most comfortable thing because we've gotten into that habit of crossing our legs, but when you're sitting, aim for both feet flat on the ground with your hips, knees, and ankles aligned. This will promote healthy hip and pelvis alignment. Yes, it's difficult at the beginning, it's weird, it feels uncomfortable, and then you'll find yourself crossing your legs. But when you see yourself crossing your legs, uncross them and sit in a neutral position. Hopefully, after listening to this video, you will be more mindful of the times that you are sitting cross-legged and you will incorporate these tactics to avoid this from becoming a greater issue in the future. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this helps somehow. This can add a little bit of information to improving your quality of life. I will see you in the next video. Bye! Bye!